Can you hear me now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, what a freaking... Hey, so sorry, everybody. We're a little late starting this morning. We had some audio issues this morning.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel like somebody came into my studio and did some things to my mixer because I've never hit those buttons before in my life, and somehow those were on.
you had a big New Year's Eve party in your studio? And
No, or somebody must have.
somebody must have.
Jeepers creepers. All right, so yeah, I'm a little behind here. Some topics that I wrote down today. I think we're going to have a pretty packed show here.
We are.
A New Year's resolution. I wanted to talk about that. I have a
Do
shirt.
I gotta have one too?
Well, you don't have to.
Okay, I'll be better.
Okay. I have a shirts update. Yes, I finally called Barb. Talked to her on Sunday. Our sponsorship and partnership opportunities, I finally put that up yesterday. I was supposed to do it last week. I have a surprise guest announcement for January 25th.
Holy cow.
Want to get to. There was one article. It wasn't from you. It was from the Rice Lake Police Department. But I'm sure you're aware of it. I obviously can't get into a lot of it, but it was regarding a stabbing. I think it was actually last Tuesday afternoon. And then you had put something up on your Facebook page that I really wanted to get to.
All right.
I even kind of created a quick little graph. It's kind of generic, but something to get to there. So we have a whole bunch to get to today. So
All right.
I'm real excited. Hey, real quick, since it looks like we have a few seconds left. This morning, Kenneth was getting ready for school, and he was packing his lunch. And new lunch boxes are just like really, I don't know, they're cozy, and they keep everything cool. Do you remember having a lunchbox when you were a kid? And if so, what was your favorite one?
Oh, I think I had an A-Team one, and I'm sure I had a G.I. Joe one.
A-Team. That's the way to go. No
That's
kid.
right.
My favorite one, real quick, was the, what was it? Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard, I'm sure I had that one too. Maybe the A-Team theme song.
Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, January 4th, 2022. Sorry for the delay. Oh, Amanda had a Dukes of Hazzard one as well. Good morning, everyone. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by fill in the blank, I guess. We don't have a sponsor yet. I've kind of forgot to put that up until yesterday. We'll get to that later. Special thank you to my guest last Thursday. Former Wisconsin Assembly Representative and current candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General Adam Jarchow joined me for a live conversation. In case you missed that, you can watch a recording of that show and, of course, all of our shows, including our Positive Tuesday shows, on our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/DrydenWire, our website, DrydenWire.com, or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DrydenWire. All right. Fitzy, first show of the year. Good morning. We already started off at a little rough. I had audio issues, couldn't hear anything, and then I got it working, and then I couldn't hear you. It's just been one of those mornings.
It was just somebody had a big New Year's Eve party.
Something. Yeah, it looks so weird not seeing like Positive Tuesday in the bottom presented by or anything. So hey, it's been a week. How have you been? What's new with you?
Not a lot. We had it was cold all weekend, so we kind of stayed in. I worked New Year's Eve. We can get into that a little bit. Other than that, it was just kids had a good break and just enjoyed life a little, and that's about it. Nothing exciting going on. So there's my mom and dad. They made it to Arizona. So.
I think we can put these comments right down here now. Fantastic.
Oh, look at that. Yep.
My
parents made it to Arizona last night, so that was good. They drove down.
They drove down?
Yep, they drive down, and they stay down there for a few months. So.
Molly Parent, by the way, I think this is about the lunch boxes. Favorite was Disney ones.
Disney, yep.
Oh, my goodness. Knight Rider, yes, please, and thank you. That's awesome. We were talking before we started real quick about just lunch boxes. I mean, those things were terrible. Like, you should not put food inside just, like, tin or whatever those things are made out of. It doesn't keep anything cold. Yeah. Things that need to be cold don't stay cold. Things that need to be hot don't stay hot. It's like the worst thing in the world, but we all had lunch boxes. I don't even know if they still do those anymore, and if they do, I'm sure they're all high-techy now.
You're right.
I came up with this weekend, I was really thinking about. Apparently, you didn't take it seriously. But on the last show, we talked about New Year's resolutions. I have my New Year's resolution. And
Oh yeah, what is
it's applicable to my personal life and my professional life. And I've already started using it. And it is really to apply our slogan. Little things make a big difference. So apply that in my personal life and my professional life. And I have a whole bunch of examples, but we have quite a bit we need to get to today for the show. But I don't know, I think it's a simple thing, but it's doable. It's not like I have to go to the gym 3 times a week or eat bananas all day and not having, just instead of maybe for food, having a bowl of chili instead of chips, have a bowl of chili and a salad. Just little things. When we get sometimes some negative complaints or some feedback from some of our viewers about certain things.
That's what we're going to call it.
Feedback. Yeah.
Feedback.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, right. It's no more riots. It's civil disturbances.
Civil disturbances.
I mean, they're civil. So just, now I've replied to a few and just kind of explained a few things. And I wish they would kind of just change some of the wording, like ask a question, maybe leave out the swears, because some of it's, why do you continue to be a neo-Nazi Republican propaganda machine for the GOP? It's okay. Usually I don't respond to those, but now I do, and just kind of explain this is why. Like, we don't have a leaning. It's just because of this. And it makes me feel better, and I don't know if it actually helps, but maybe it does, because little things make a big difference.
That's exactly right. So how was your New Year's? What'd you do?
Went to bed early. Kids stayed up, but Drush and I were in bed by 9. You went out working, didn't you?
I did. I worked New Year's Eve and went out about 11 and stayed out till about 4 a.m.
4 a.m.? Was it a busy night, or you just didn't want to go home?
It was one call that I got myself into and had to handle it, and I did it all. Well, I didn't do much of it, but I stopped one car and it ended up having 6 kids that were drinking in it, and went bad for them, but it was okay. They all learned the lesson. They were very respectful. They were all from out of Barron County. They weren't local people, and some kids, they just made some bad choices. We learned from it. Their parents came and got them, and it all worked out. But it took about 3 hours to get them processed and get everything done. And so it was a long night, but it was a very uneventful night. Besides that, it was pretty uneventful.
That's for New Year's Eve on was Friday night, wasn't it? New Year's Eve was Friday night. I'd say that's a win. That's a W.
Not a press. I can't even write a press release. There was nothing exciting, about it.
Wow.
So, which is exactly what we want to do. I mean, if we wanted to have a New Year's resolution, that would be exactly what we want. But no, it was a great New Year's. It was cold. I mean, that hurt, I think, a little bit some of the crowds, but I think some of the restaurants, I hope it looked like, did really good early on. It was busy in town as I drove through. So I think everybody had a good, safe New Year's Eve. There was no crashes, nothing like that.
Good.
So.
I saw, so before we start the show, I want to get to something, and I think hopefully it works. Let me test it now, because everything else seems to be going wrong. I think it's this. Yes. So you had put something up, and I just kind of quickly wrote it down. Right. I want to get to this. Someone had just texted and said our article. So we're having an issue this morning as well with our Google ads, which I absolutely hate Google ads. And I'm sorry, I'll get to a couple of these comments and put these up here in a second. But so we're having an issue with those. I mean, I've always had an issue. I hate our Google ads. So our website was designed for having local sponsors and local advertisers. They're not intrusive, but they're in key places. They're not in the middle of an article. But after about a little over a year, obviously being a free media outlet, we always look for additional revenue. And since we had such a high volume of people going to our website, it kind of made sense. So what it's called is Google Auto Ads. So I don't control where those go. We just put in a code, and then it's different depending on your browser, depending on your device, depending on the size of your computer. It changes where it is for everybody. And there's over 30,000 ads, and it's called a bidding process. It's kind of confusing. We don't do any of the bidding. It's just Google does everything. And the auto ads, just place them wherever. Usually these are the ones in the middle of articles. There's even some I've seen going, what the what? I don't want that on our website. So I can't stand them. But I think they just made a change because now it's screwing up some of our articles, how the layout is. It's like moving things around. So, we're working on that. Dude, if you can figure out a way, that there you go. I could use your help. right? How do I fix that? Because I would literally pay to never see a Google ad again on our website. I can't stand those, but it's a necessary evil because that's a quarter of our revenue.
Right.
What do we do?
Let me call Mr. Google. I'll figure it out.
Okay, we got to do something, man. But yeah, in case you're noticing that, that's what the issue is.
But yeah, people need to understand they don't like it, but it's not something that you're doing.
I don't
It's
like it.
revenue, and yeah, well, I mean, you do it. I mean, but it's revenue because of what you do, and you make it free for everybody. And I think you've been talking about some expansions and doing some different things, and
Mhm.
so I think we talked a little bit about the future. We wanted to make sure the show keeps going and Dryden Wire keeps going, and everybody likes it. So you may have to make some changes, and you know, I play that game Candy Crush or whatever it is, and you pay $1.99 to get the ads off. But maybe
That is something we should look into because it's again, it
right,
was never meant to be. Our website was designed not to have those, and then when they just kind of force those all in, yeah, I can't stand them. You know what? I think I'll call our coder
there you go.
after the show and see what we would need to do for that and how much work it would be and etc. Because man, that is just annoying.
Is that kind of like a dealer? Call your
Yeah,
dealer.
gotta call my dealer. He'll hook me up.
That
So I also have a shirts update. I called Barb, and it only took me 2 months.
You said Sunday. We talked about this on Tuesday. You called her on Sunday.
But I did call her before the next show, so there is a slight change in the design for the one that we had. We're actually taking out "Words Matter" and putting Dryden Wire in place of that, so we can stick with just one slogan, which is "Little things make a big difference." We're going to put a lighter color red in some places, but here's the good news. Well, all this is good news. There'll be more than a T-shirt. It looks like possibly long sleeve shirt, sweatshirts, and others, and you'll be able to order directly from a website link, and she'll create this, and it's like a page. So yeah, a store, right? Exactly, and you'll be able to go on and select what you want. Now things are more expensive if you order one. I mean, like total. So what we're thinking of doing is having it open for like 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So then you would just order stuff, and then the more that we have, the cheaper the price is. So we're working on that. So hopefully, I know for sure we'll have an update next week because now it's actually moving since I finally called her.
Since she decided to just take it on herself and do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw a one next. I wanted to get to. We have a surprise guest on the 25th, but before that was a sponsorship and partnership. I thought I saw something in there.
You did. It was from Brian Daniels. He Professional Exteriors. He called me yesterday. Wants to be a sponsor, and Brian would be a great guy in Professional Exteriors. He does it, and he's a guy who's got a heart of gold, and he is truly believes in our slogan, "Little things make a big difference." He does a lot of little things for people, and doesn't expect anything in return. And so I told him I'd talk to you after the show today, and maybe he wants to be our sponsor. Maybe he wants to be our giveaway sponsor and give stuff away. 'Cause he loves the guy supports a lot of local businesses, and he likes to give stuff away. So maybe
yeah,
he can do that.
if he's still on, I'm sorry, where'd it go? Shoot, what was his first name?
Brian Daniels.
Brian Daniels.
Brian.
Yeah, if you're still on, Brian, throw your link in to your website. Yeah, I don't want to start looking at all that stuff right now. Well, cool. Then I'm not even going to get the sponsorship or anything about that right now because
But we need to get
we'll
some
talk to him as
sponsorships.
well.
We want to give stuff away. So
Yeah, so we do have a sponsor or a presenter. So just like usually we used to have, Positive Tuesday, benefits you presented by ICAA, then your logo on the screen. This would be a business. But it's not like an every week or a one time. We're open to like a 12, 24, 48 episode package kind of a thing, ideally just for the whole year. But we're open to, whatever. We will adjust to fit the needs of a business or an organization. We're also looking for traditional and or non-traditional partnerships with businesses and organizations, and then some for giveaways. I put some information about that yesterday on our website at drydenwire.com. That should still be up there. So whoever that, by the way, if anyone is interested in doing that, you'd want to do that before the 25th. I had to call Mike. I had to call Mike Schaefer or text Mike Schaefer. He was supposed to be on the 25th, and I had to bump him. And he said, "Boy, I can't wait to find out who's more important than me." So I also followed up with something that we were doing. Chris Cruzy will be our guest on the 25th.
Sweet.
I know. Talked to him yesterday.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm really excited. I went onto his website and ordered a shirt, so hopefully when that comes, I can wear that.
There you go.
Big picture of him. It is. It's
We all
awesome.
got them. No, I don't know that I have one, but I'll
Uh,
have to get one too. Maybe I'll wear mine.
yeah. So I have now done Barb. I've called Barb, like you've
Okay.
been making fun of me before. I also contacted Chris, and he will be on the 25th. And I think you
Yeah.
were supposed to call the governor. Have you gotten around to that yet?
No, I'll write that down.
Okay. Now I have something I can keep bugging you about.
Right.
Oh,
That's a little harder.
yeah, and I can't wait. So I talked to Chris for the first time ever yesterday, and boy, he was so much fun to talk to. We talked like
Yeah.
15 minutes, and we kept going. We could have kept going.
Yeah.
All right,
He's
so
a
there,
great guy.
yeah, there is a press release or articles. There's only one. It was the Rice Lake Police Department, actually, so it was not a press release from you. This was last Tuesday, and our headline was "Suspects in Custody Following Report of Stabbing in Rice Lake."
Correct.
I'm sure you're aware of that. I think there was juveniles
I was
involved, and
on the call, so yeah.
okay, so obviously it's ongoing investigation, many things there, but what can you kind of tell us about that?
Well, there was, a subject got stabbed at a residence in Rice Lake, and ultimately we assisted with that case and located the four suspects, um, and arrested the four suspects and brought them to Rice Lake PD. Obviously, one of them is the suspect that did the stabbing, and he was under the age of 18, so he gets referred to Human Services. I don't know if there'll be other charges with the other people. That's up to Rice Lake PD and their report, but we did assist Rice Lake PD with that case, and it was not a serious injury, but obviously any kind of a stabbing is a serious case, and so
Yeah.
that happened just prior to Christmas. It was on the 23rd. And then a press release went out after Christmas, and that's why you heard about it. But
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah, so but
Mm.
it's all taken care of. There was no threat. It was they knew each other, didn't know each other, but had some contact with each other. It wasn't a random, just gonna walk down the street and stab somebody kind of case.
Yeah, anytime juveniles are involved, and you and I have talked about this, I wouldn't say at nauseum, but at length, or we've certainly brought it up, that anything when it involves kids, it just everything changes.
Right.
But there is certainly not justifying or condoning any behaviors. But boy,
Mhm.
kids, it's just something different. And again, I'm not saying that they should get, just don't do it again. Hey, it's significant. There's consequences or actions at any age. But boy, kids, that's always a tough one. Whether they're a victim of something or they are the ones allegedly doing something, I just hate to hear about that stuff. You're kids. You should be enjoying life. You should be playing video
Right.
games and going on awkward dates and have pimples, and that's what it's supposed to be, not this other stuff.
Well, and all the kids that I worked with on New Year's Eve, they were all 16, 17, 18 years old, and by no means were they intoxicated, but they all had been drinking, and they were all cooperative and respectful, which again goes a long way in my book. And I did explain that to the upset parents that had to drive to the police department in Race Lake, where they let us use a room there, at one
Oh,
o'clock in the
right.
morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
had to pick up. But
Yeah.
again, they get some credit for being respectful, responsible, not responsible, and the fact that they took responsibility for their actions. Now, they could have, before their actions, been a little bit more responsible, but, kids do dumb things, and it's not the end of the world, and we can get through that as long as you learn from them, and, you got to learn from your mistakes, and we all need to do that as adults too, and,
Yep.
and life goes forward, and everybody hopefully will make better choices in the future.
Well,
That's all.
Dad, of course, former Washington County Sheriff for 28 years. He had, told me when I was very young, shortly after I got my driver's license, if you get pulled over, I'm like, what am I really supposed to do? And he said, be number one, most important thing, be respectful, even if they're not respecting you or being respectful towards you. And I've always remembered that because it's my decision. I can't control what's happening right now, but be respectful.
Yep.
Be respectful. I think it was like 4 or 5 things. Be respectful. Don't lie. Never
Yeah.
offer any more information that they didn't ask for. That was one, actually. Just yes or no. Just answer the questions. If you feel like your rights are being violated at any point, shut up. Ask for a lawyer. And if you get arrested, you get arrested. Let the courts figure it out. but
Right.
it starts with and that I remember the fifth one. Don't commit crimes. That literally was the fifth one. Try not to break the law. Maybe that should have been the first one.
Yeah, that should have been. So, no, other than that, it was really nothing. And we're starting out 2022 on a good note, and we're putting our stats together. And I put up a post on Facebook, and I just got a report about the end of the year officer involved deaths. So I put it up there, and we're going to continue to talk about different stats throughout the month. And, we got a lot going on in 2022 at the Sheriff's Department. I'm very excited about this year. I think we have a great department, and we're only going to get better in 2022. We've got some new equipment coming, some new grants, some new positions. We're pretty excited. I'm very excited about 2022.
And I'm excited to hear about them all. Molly had a quick question. Keep forgetting to ask. Can Barron Sheriff do that? But I still have that GoPro that I've never used. So I forgot about that. Shoot, now I have something else I got to follow up on.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go through one show. I was trying to just clean out my basket.
Well, we almost had it, but there was a problem with going live through the GoPro through the website. So
maybe there's been an update. So right.
we couldn't use the GoPro, so the quality of the video wasn't great. So we did work on it. So
I'm sorry. We could do it, but we just couldn't do it live. Right. So I think we just kind of left it with, I don't know. Maybe I just sell this one and get a different one that we can do that. I mean, or maybe we just record it and don't do it live. I think that's where we left it.
Right. We're working on it. We talked about it, and there's some, we don't know how to cut it off, and we don't want to invade people's privacy, even though you don't get some privacy when you talk to law enforcement. But we do want to go on patrol and have a little thing, and that is our goal. It's just freezing out right now.
We'll get it done. Well, and I can't wait. So you brought up. So let's get to that. Kind of our main topic here, and that is something Molly, I think, had just asked. So one of my favorite things every year is sometime in January or February, whenever it is you get all your numbers together. We always do a show on it. I think the first time we did it, that was back when I was still doing in-studio guests. You came up here, and we sat down, and for 45 minutes, like an hour, we just went over all of these numbers. And I for some reason, I was just so fascinated by it. So this isn't that, what we're going to talk about today, but I'm very excited. Are you going to have that this month, or is that going to be like February, March?
Oh, no, we'll have it hopefully by next week, so maybe the 18th. We can do that live. We'll have a draft of it on the 11th, and we'll have the 18th. We're going to talk to Chris Cruzy on the 25th, and so we'll do it the 18th and the first week in February. I actually might have to skip the first day in February, but we'll figure that out. But
okay.
That's a long way in.
Yeah, a lot can happen from now to then. So this is what you put up yesterday. Well, not that, but I just threw it on a little thing. Right. And you had more to that, more to those numbers. But here are the line of duty deaths in 2021. Now, this is obviously not Barron County.
Right.
This is
the United States.
The United States. So there are, obviously the COVID stands out. Big time.
And some people took offense to that on Facebook and didn't think that's in line of the duty death and whatever you can think, a lot of things. And so what I did, and
we'll put that back up in a second. Go ahead.
I took the COVID deaths out, and I looked at the last 3 years and I have that to put up today. If you look at the line of duty deaths, take COVID out, take that number right out of the system. In 2021, there was 160.
Okay.
Duty deaths. And you take out in 2020, there was 131, and in 2019 there was 155. So line of duty deaths are still up.
Yeah.
And some of that COVID, maybe not every COVID case, is related to the job that we have to do and the places we have to go and the people we have to interact with.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they consider some of those COVID deaths in the line of duty. Because of the risks that we take. And I think you probably say the same thing for doctors and nurses and dentists and grocery store workers or whatever.
Yeah, if you're around a lot of people, I mean, it's just going to happen. Or any workplace environment. I mean, George works in the DA's office. There's only like 5 other people there. So it's not as bad, but it's still an enclosed environment. But of course it's going to be. But what in here? Outside of COVID, so maybe I shouldn't have put that on, but whatever. It is what it is. That's what the thing says.
The stats show.
Yeah. So looking just on the left side there, outside of COVID, Does anything else stand out to you that or something that surprised you?
Well, no, I mean, the number of automobile crashes and gunfire. I mean, I
Hmm.
just don't like it. If you look at 2019's gunfire was 49, 2020's gunfire was 45,
Oh wow, that's up.
gunfire was 61. So, I mean, that's, it's just, it's, and people say, those are the risks. And, some of the comments on Facebook, it irritated me again. And again, 2022, I'm not going to get irritated. I'm just going to, but it's like somebody put, that's what we signed up to do. Yeah, you're right. No, we signed up to help people not get shot at. And
Yeah,
so,
it comes with a
you know,
gig. No, totally get that.
right,
Yeah, that's a part of it. That's why we appreciate law enforcement so much, because my
right.
guess is that just about everybody, the overwhelming majority of people that are watching right now, or likely more likely watching later, uh, you didn't have to sign that. When you go to
Right.
work, you probably don't have to worry about coming home.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, so it was a little frustrating, some of
Mm.
the comments, but again, I got to quit reading comments, and and I put that out there just because I think people need to know that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm appreciative
transparent.
for the officers that we have and the people that we do what we do.
Yep.
We're lucky that we didn't lose an officer in 2022. We had an officer involved shooting in 2022, in
Yep.
2021 or 21, excuse
Yep.
me. So that those we were in a high risk situation. We went on 15 SWAT calls in
Yeah.
2021, so which was up. Our fatalities and our just off the top of my head, our fatalities and our SWAT calls are up, and in fact doubled over 2020 in 2021. So the number of traffic fatalities and the number of SWAT calls doubled from what we had the year prior. So I'm hoping as I go through our stats that that's the only two. But the gunfire one, it's just tough. Heart attacks,
Yeah.
that.
That one. Yeah. That's. I mean, and I'm sure that stuff doesn't. Now, thankfully, my dad lived, but it's also interesting that I think that's the kind of line of work that as soon as you leave, I've actually seen a lot of people leave law enforcement and then have a heart attack like within a year.
Right.
I think I've even seen a study or a report on that somewhere.
In 2020 it was 7. In
Mm,
2019 it was 19. So
mm.
so it's up there.
Up from the previous year.
Right, up from the previous year by a lot, 7 to 18. So otherwise I don't. They are all pretty. Vehicle pursuits are pretty dangerous. That one surprised me that it's that low.
Yeah,
Um,
that one a little, and the 9/11 related illness 3. Man, that was 2 decades ago.
yeah,
I actually was. I didn't realize that law enforcement officers and obviously probably all first responders, I suppose, but this is again just law enforcement. That's still people are still suffering from that and obviously dying from that.
right. In 19 it was 28, and then 20 it was 15. So, yeah.
Now, what I don't see here, see it
Crazy.
says vehicle assault 17. Um,
I
oh,
don't know
see,
that.
these are all deaths. Okay, see, I was thinking they missed one because there was a case or a situation in Barron County where there was an injury from a pursuit. I've seen vehicle pursuit 3, and I think there was one, but didn't lead to a death. I don't think it was something
Just
about
June.
chasing someone, getting out of the vehicle, and then just falling over, and then breaking their arm and something. But that's right. This
It
is
was a
deaths.
fracture. It was a fracture. And it was a torn hamstring, and it still hurts now that you bring it up.
Oh, we have to have a little levity here every once in a while.
Yes, we do. I mean, and again, it's I wish we didn't have to talk about COVID, but we do have to talk about it. Mike Schaefer wants us to talk about it. We need to make sure we continue to be safe. And some people think we shouldn't call them in the line of duty to us. I didn't make the chart. I just created the
Yeah.
national chart. Whether what you think about it or not, I just put some information up there.
But you
And if
got
you
you
don't
got
like
you got hit for it on comments, huh? I didn't look
it,
at the
yeah,
comments.
yeah, I didn't.
You want me to go
You
on
know,
there and be the heavy for you? You gonna go on there and just fire back at them?
no, I don't need
No.
you to do
Okay.
that.
All right.
I'm fine. I'm a big boy.
Okay.
I don't care. I mean, it creates some conversation. I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
some of this is it's what you you know what you signed up for. I mean, that's just
That's ignorant.
unnecessary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ignorant.
it's just exactly, and it's not necessary to do. We've got to do a better job at that in 2022. Is just some of the comments that you can just shoot from the hip from your living room couch is not, you know, is not right, and we got to do a better job in 2022 of that. And again, I'm not letting any of that get to me in 2022. Um, it doesn't. I can't. I got to realize that there's, you know, some of that is just they don't understand it. So
Yeah, people are too bored. I think that's what
right,
most of it is. They have too much time on their hands. But I've noticed one of the since I actually don't go through and read comments much, I kind of stopped doing that a few months ago, and wow, my mental health just went through the roof.
yeah,
Um, I find though that when I do go back and look, since I don't read them, therefore I don't respond to any of them, that a lot of times it almost seems to take care of itself. Because you're right, it does bring up a good conversation. Usually it's when someone says something that's either ignorant or naive or just mean or whatever. Yeah, they kind of get called out on that.
yeah,
So it's, I don't know, in a weird way, it kind of takes care of itself most of the time. Or people just kind of
it's
roll their eyes and go, whatever. Because I think sometimes it's okay just to say, you're an idiot, whatever. Like, I'm not even going to respond or move forward. And I don't mean that all people are idiots, but there are idiotic comments. They just are.
right,
And anyone that's watching knows. You have seen people, you have seen comments that you're like, what an idiot.
right.
And I think that's okay and just leave it at that. You're an idiot and I'm not going to respond.
And and we're blessed to be in an area that has such law enforcement support. I
Yeah,
would hate to be in a city. I mean, I would
right.
guess. I have no idea. But some of the comments in Minneapolis, they probably don't even put stuff up like that because they just get beat up with all the haters. And the haters, the people that love the cops probably don't get in there because they don't want to get beat up by the haters. There's so many. I mean, we're the exact opposite. We're a 90-10 here, and it might be 50-50 in somewhere else, you know.
Yeah. Or worse.
So, yeah, or worse than that. You're exactly right. I think there isn't. I think there's a lot more support, but it's just we can't let the negatives outweigh the positives, and we've got to do a better job of that in 2022. And so
Yeah.
again, that's why I'm very excited about 2022. It's just going on here at the sheriff's department. We're just rolling right along. We're getting some new equipment. We've got some pretty good, exciting things to announce later in the months, in the coming months, and I'm very excited. I think we live in a very safe community. We're very blessed to have the support. I think we do a lot of proactive stuff, and we're going to launch some new proactive stuff in 2022. That's even going to make us get out there in the public even more. So I'm pretty excited.
Me too, because I have no idea what they are. So
Yeah,
I can't wait to find out when
I haven't
everybody
made
else
them up
finds out.
yet.
So don't tell me. We'll just, it'll just kind of get brought up on the show.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a great year. And again, my New Year's resolution is using our slogan, little things make a big difference. And
Mhm.
sometimes that could be not, it's the negative space. So if I'm sure I'm guilty of this from time to time, I have put something on a comment. Maybe it was a snarky reply or being
Mhm.
sarcastic, because man, kind of hurt my feelings. So fine, I'm going to fire back on something. I don't think I've really done that lately, but I've done that in my life. I'm not proud of something like that. I've never gone back and deleted it. It's well, I'm going to own it. But sometimes those little things that make a big difference aren't the things that you do. It's the things that you don't do. It's the decision that you make that, you know what, I'm not going to do that right now. We were coming up, it's a 2022, it's an election cycle. And when Donald Trump was the president, it was he's created divisiveness, and I'm not a pro Trump, I'm not anti Trump, I don't care. But very commonly, it was being told to us that he single handedly had created massive divisiveness in our country. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But I do know that he hasn't been the president in a while, and I still see divisiveness in our own communities. Because it really comes down to you and your choice. You have the choice to decide, are you going to be positive? Are you going to be negative? Are you going to do things that make a big difference? Or because some of those things are negative. A little thing that's really bad can make a really big difference in somebody's life in a negative way. But
Right.
it really comes down to our choice. So I think we should, yeah, it's a pipe dream, I guess, but I would love it if we could all just be a little more positive and, I don't know, make better decisions.
Yeah. It's as simple as that, and it's really truly that simple. I mean,
It
I think
really is.
everybody. I mean, and we did. We really promoted not drinking and driving on New Year's Eve, and I think there was maybe one OWI in the whole county.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
mean, that's and if we can all make those decisions, it's just awesome. I mean, so I really think I think there was only one OWI all night,
On New
and that
Year's
was
Eve.
real
First of all, on a Friday night, that would seem
right.
not. I wouldn't believe you if you said it was just a random Friday night. But
Right.
then on a New Year's Eve,
And I think that OWI was at like 6:30 p.m. So I mean, you're talking
wow.
didn't have any out there, and I'm telling you, there was patrol out, there was cars being stopped. It wasn't I mean, it was colder, but we still had a lot of stops that night, and I don't know that we had any OWIs. So I think
Wow.
that's awesome. I mean, that's the way to kick off 2022, and maybe that's what's got me going here is that we
Awesome.
haven't had a lot of crime, and it's great. I'm not saying we're going to go crime free in 2022, but there's a reality to that. No, no, there's not because we already caught some people doing some stuff, but we can make better decisions and do better as a community,
Yep.
and it's I think it's partly my job to have some of that come out. So well, like I said, we're gonna do some pretty cool things in 2022.
Good. Well, and I think that's where, like, because it's kind of weird that I run a media outlet and you're the sheriff, and yet we do the show. Not weird. It's just, it's not like a two people in law enforcement or me talking to another person in media and we're discussing news. But it's kind of like a tag team approach, right? You obviously are out there, and all of your people are out there, and you're working all together to keep everybody safe and responding to things. But you're also trying to create positivity in the communities. And if there is a way that Dryden Wire can help by having you on and talking about these things,
Right.
to make people aware of those, and maybe parents or neighbors or telling other people about the stuff that they hear on our show. And hey, if that also means that some people don't want to go out and commit a crime because they don't want their face on Dryden Wire and us doing a story on it, I'll take that. That's good. I mean,
Right.
that's why all those things sometimes people say that those are negative. No, they're positive stories because one, we got them. That's good.
Right.
They're for a crime or an OWI for the sixth freaking time. Yeah, we're going to put your face on Dryden Wire and we're going to do a story on you. That's just what we're going to do. But hopefully that would other people see that and go, man, I don't want my face on there. It seems like it's negative, but I think it's a positive thing. So hopefully what we're doing is making a difference.
I think we know it has. I mean, we've got a lot of followers that continue to watch us, and like I said, we want to make a difference and have some guests on, and not just you and I up here talking, but did Kirk get enough signatures? He was, today's the last day to run for mayor in St.
Oh,
Clair
is it?
Falls. So,
Oh,
yep,
Kirk, let
today's
us
the
know.
closing day for all of our April elections. So, I think we'll have some school boards, mayors, city councils, county boards. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll have some people not running for county board, some new people running for county board. We're pretty excited. And so I think it's good. And so
Do
I'm
you?
sure Kurt, he
Yeah,
was
Kirk, let us.
signatures.
Yeah, let us know, Kirk. I'm assuming he did. I think his last election he won like 78% or 75, something like
Yeah,
that. He had the vote. So yeah, I think if he wants to stay mayor, he can stay mayor. That's just
yeah,
my
I think
guess.
so.
Shoot, you just brought something up, and I can't remember now. Your county races. Do you typically have contested races in the positions that are open for county board, or do you tend to have nobody really runs and sometimes even some
This is
vacancies?
this is the first year we've seen we'll have some contested races in a long time, and I
Awesome.
don't think that's bad.
Oh, that's good. I think.
I hope people are running for the right reasons and not a single reason like masks, like some other reasons. I'm not saying those aren't reasons, but if you're going in to be elected to county board or to a school board, it's bigger than one issue.
It can't be
I think
issue
a lot
based.
of
Yeah, right.
it can't be it can't run on a issue. It's just, and I'm excited about some of the people running. I have no problem with them, either person that wins. I just hope that they're not running on one issue or one, like I'm going in there and I'm going to drive the truck through this and I'm going to do this and we're going to stop whatever X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
because there's a lot more issues than that, whether it's public health or law enforcement or highway or you want better roads or you want this. It's way bigger. And Kirk knows that. Dave Wilson knows that. I mean, he's awesome. I mean,
Yeah, he's
he
on the board. Obviously, he's on a lot of the committees. Oh shoot, Dave Wilson, doggone it.
that's why I did it because we're
Thanks.
running out of time
Yeah,
and I
thanks a
wanted to
lot.
say
Yeah,
Dave Wilson and Kirk Anderson.
I love it.
So, so yeah, and so pretty excited about that. And that'll be April for all of those. So.
Awesome. What do you have? Anything else that you wanted to discuss that we didn't get a chance to?
No, I don't think so.
All
I
right.
think
Kirk said nobody's running against him, and Polk County Board seat for St. Croix Falls is going to be vacant unless someone runs.
wow.
That's interesting. Like in Washburn, well, you know what? We should actually have Dave Wilson on
There you go.
for one of our shows. Maybe he can just sit there. Remember what was he doing last time? It was like right in front of the camera or something. The whole time. It was awesome. Let's see if we can get him to replicate that.
He
Yeah, that
must be
would.
hunting.
Yeah,
He
I don't
must
know.
be hunting. No comments from Dave
Oh yeah,
Wilson.
yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
saving lives, probably.
no, we should have him on, and that will still tie into some of our your reports, your data. He could probably ask questions I never would think of, and then we can also kind of talk a little bit about those board things or the seats, because I think he had said there's a couple that are maybe contested. I think there's maybe a couple right now that I don't even think even have any representations, or at least one. I don't remember.
But he's watching, so he's
Oh,
on there now. So,
okay.
but no, Dave and I had a good conversation about hiring and open positions in the county. Whether it's not just sheriff's department or police departments, it's human services and it's highway and it's this, and how do we keep people in Northwest Wisconsin? I'm sure Kurt has the same thing as being a border. How does he keep people, from not taking jobs in Minnesota and keeping them here in St. Croix Falls? Or how does Dave keep them here, and how do I keep them here at the Barron County Jail or dispatch or the highway or DHS? When it's so competitive and there's so many jobs opening up, and sometimes night differential and different things like that. So Dave Wilson had a conversation about that. That's just good conversation to have between counties. So
All right, here's one last question we'll throw up here, Molly. Yeah, so we'll get Dave on. Chris, you guys got to use that Bolo wrap thing. Nice question,
have
Molly.
we? No, we haven't. Luckily,
what is that again?
It looks like spider webs and it shoots out of.
Oh, that's right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So we've never had to use it in action, but we've taken on all of our SWAT calls, and it's available to us if need be. So, no, we haven't. That's a good thing.
All right. What's on your agenda this week? I know you're on a lot of boards, a lot of meetings. I don't know if there's anything important kind of coming up there, or is there no holidays or anything? What do you have going on this week?
I'm going to Hudson tonight for hockey. Thursday we're home for hockey. Went to the Hagen Village board meeting last night just to hang out and say hi.
Hang out and say hi.
Yeah, well,
Just
they were
to
going to
hang
have
out.
an issue. Yeah.
Karen was on the real quick. Karen was on the village board. People complained that they weren't doing enough. I would tell them to run, but you can't. Yeah, then you can't please everyone. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. No question, Karen. You're exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't
right.
want to do anything about it. I just want to complain a little bit.
I don't want to run. I don't want to make mistakes.
No.
Your decision.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah. I don't want people calling me and telling me they hate me.
Yeah, that's just I think that's what people don't realize sometimes. Like Romaine Quinn when he left the assembly, and now of course he's running again. But during that time, I said, was it kind of like this year of peace? Because you can, and now you can maybe go on other people's and go after them. Because it's actually heavy lies the crown, or heavy lies the head that wears the crown. I think that's an idiom, because I don't think that's exactly how it goes. But when you're in that spot and all eyes are on you, people just feel like you're not a human and they just take shots at you and feel like it's okay. And I don't think people want to run because they know that there's a lot of other people like they are that would do the same thing to them. And sometimes it's not that great of a gig. So, people have feelings.
No,
they're human beings first before they're a title. Just remember that.
And we have to remember that. And you just can't. And sometimes, you represent an area of the county, whether it's, a little jurisdiction. And if your voters want you to vote some way, that's the way you're supposed to vote. So if your board coming, if it wasn't tonight, I would, Amanda. But hit me up next time. I'd be happy to come. What mentors do for kids is bigger than anything that we can do in law enforcement. So I appreciate our mentors, and you can pass that on. So it's great.
All right. So you doing? There's something today, though. I got a media release today, and I just printed this one right before we went live. It's not a press release, so I can't publish it, but GOP legislators hold regional press conferences. I think it's in Eau Claire. But it was interesting because it says Republican members of the Wisconsin State Legislature will introduce a law enforcement support package. Got a press release. Did you get any information on that?
I got a little bit, and I'm not attending, not because it's a Republican, it's because I got some other things. The one was being the show. It's 9:30, in Eau Claire, and I didn't want to miss the
Oh,
show.
so mine says 2. Oh, this is a media one, and this is at
Yeah,
like at
there's a
2.
meeting. There's actually one in Eau Claire. Maybe it was at 10. But no, otherwise I probably would have went down to it. So, but it's got a
One.
lot of things in it that just show support for law enforcement. I don't think it's anything real major. I don't
Oh,
think.
sure. Is it one of those? It's an election cycle, and we're
No,
Republicans
I
and pro
think they were
cops,
trying to.
but
I
no
think they
actual
were trying
bills.
to. Yeah, no, I think they were trying to finish up some things that they hadn't done, make
Oh,
sure that, body cameras were still covered and maybe look at, I don't know if there's some grant money attached to body cameras in that. I don't recall. But it was all things that we're already doing or we do. And so I wasn't, there were some restrictions or some policies they wanted to start to make sure that people are treated fairly, et cetera. So
okay.
I haven't really, really, really looked into that a big
Well,
deal, but
hopefully, I'm sure since this is a regional, so I'm sure one of the Republicans in our area will go
right.
and send out a press release and kind of say what it is. But it did also put in here that currently there are 13,576 law enforcement officers in Wisconsin, the lowest number in over a decade. So they must be doing something about
Right.
that too.
Right.
All right, and then lastly is our Monday night is the college championship.
Alabama, Georgia.
Yep, and so you may want to redo since last week.
Yeah, Michigan.
You
Yeah,
had Michigan over Georgia, and then Michigan beating Alabama. And I think I had said that, well, how's Michigan beat Alabama if they're not going to get by Georgia? And they didn't. But that was
sure
good.
did.
Yes, no, it could have gone either way. So now we're back to Georgia, Alabama. On Monday night, Alabama's number 1, Georgia's number 3. But at this point, they're pretty much 1A and 1B. They're both 13-1. Alabama did beat Georgia. That's the only Georgia's loss. The current line is Georgia by 3. So Alabama's the underdog, which scares me. I mean, that's weird. And the over/under is 52.5.
I'll take the other one. Who are you taking?
I really don't know.
All
All right, I got to pick one. I went with Alabama last time. I'm going to go Alabama again because they're an underdog.
I'll take Georgia.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I can live with you.
Yeah.
Go
Maybe
back.
all right, man. Thanks so much.
The Packers. How about those Packers?
What about them? Oh, yeah, they won. Whatever.
They got. I'm losing you a minute. I don't know.
You've been watching Positive Tuesday, mostly Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden saying thank you for all of the positive words and all of the comments today. We'll see you right back here next Tuesday for another episode of Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. And put it on your calendar now, January 25th. Chris Cruzy will be our guest on our Ben and Fitzy show. Until then, remember, it's the little things that make a big difference. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.